Good morning and happy Monday. It is Monday morning, y'all. Monday morning. Good morning. Good morning, Tammy. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. Let me see. No, we're not going to do that. Good morning, Colestad. How was your weekend? How was your weekend? Good morning. I am good. I am good. I'm actually off today, so I'm going to spend the day sewing. So why not, right? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Lady Elizabeth. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday. It is Monday morning, y'all. And what are we doing today? We're going to have some fun today. Good morning, Sharon. Good morning. Good morning, Donna. We are going to have some fun today with some zipper bags, right, Tammy? I seriously, I was considering, I'm like, I could just go to work, but I'm like, you know what? No. Good morning, Ari. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Sherry. Good morning, Wendy. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Who joined me this weekend, y'all? Who joined me yesterday? Because yesterday, y'all, we literally created a quilt in one day. How did we do that? I don't even know, right, Irie? So I don't even know how we did that, but literally 1:30 in the morning, I started, and then we went all the way till 9 a.m. 9 a.m., y'all, and what'd y'all think of that process? And y'all, it turned out gorgeous. It turned out gorgeous. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how gorgeous that turned out. So it was kind of fun. I'm going to turn my embroidery machine on over here and get ready for today. I did. It was awesome. The cows and making the quilt in a day. Yeah. Right, Sharon? It was cool. It was cool. And I have to say, I wasn't too sure I was going to like that, but it turned out pretty gorgeous. Y'all. So pretty gorgeous. We're going to get the machine turned on. Good morning, Barb. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining. Hey, I'm rhyming this morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining. Good morning, Chris. How are you this morning? Good morning. Good morning. You have to head out. All right. You have a great day. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Have a great day. Good morning. Good morning. Like I said, we are going to work on zipper bags today. So letting a few people get joined before we get started. Once we get a few people in here, we'll go ahead and get started because I don't want anybody to miss a part of it. So I don't want anybody missing a part of it. Get your coffee out. Did everybody have a good weekend? Y'all, I had a phenomenal weekend. I had so much fun. I went to Anita Good Design. Y'all know who Anita Good Design is. So been around since I think early 2000s. Is when the company started. And y'all, they've gone 3D. So y'all want to see what I created this weekend? And y'all, I will be creating more. I am going to be creating more. I'm actually already started on one. I can give you a hint. It's going to be pink. But the thing I created this weekend, it's kind of cool. Let me grab it because I want y'all to see it. Move my chair over here. And we did some rearranging. So my long arm used to be in the shed, in which I don't have it anymore. Y'all, check this out. Is this not cool? So I'm going to show, I'll come up close with both y'all guys. And it's like 3D, y'all. It is literally, you see that? Is that not cool? So let me show you guys. It's like a 3D experience there. So, needless to say, I had so much fun. I'm going to be making some more of these. Let me get through the process a few times. Once I get through the process a few times, maybe we'll do one on live. So, but anyways, that was a lot of fun. Y'all. So, lots of fun. But anyways. So today, what are we doing today? We're making zipper bags today. Let me put this back over here. We are making zipper bags in the hoop, y'all. So the zipper bag in the hoop. So I went and took a class this weekend with Anita Good Design. That is where the design comes from. That is where the design comes from. Thank you, Shirley. Thank you. Thank you. So I am going to be using one of her or his design. It's actually his design. The design has more or less any zipper bag you do, more or less it goes around the same philosophy on how process goes along the same process on how it works. Good morning, Miss Donna. Good morning, Miss Jennifer. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. So it goes around the same process, more or less you hoop your stabilizer and you do a no-show stabilizer because you want it soft. You don't want it crunchy. You don't want it, I use the no-show mesh stabilizer. So, and is what I usually do. So, you hoop that stabilizer, you run that first running stitch. That first running stitch is, the zipper. It's your zipper placement line. So you take and run that first stitch and then you put your zipper in there. You want to make sure that you're not using metal zippers. You don't ever want to use a metal zipper because if you're using that metal zipper and that your embroidery machine, your sewing machine sews over there, it's going to break that needle. Possibility that it might not break the needle, but the majority of the time it will break that needle. So you want to be careful on that. You want to make sure that you're very careful on those zippers. So you don't want them. Good morning, Miss Lisa. You do not want them metal. Let me grab one out of here because I have a couple. Let me see. So, and I accidentally got some metal ones. So I'm going to show y'all the difference here. Are those? Is that? No, that's not them. I'll have to look and see. But anyway, so these are the ones that I use. I use these. There's so many different ones out there that you can use. So you can use these. You can use. I got Brave because I think it was Cynthia that was telling me that you can get them and then have because this is just a round of zipper that you measure out. So we're not going to do that this morning because I'm not brave enough yet. So not brave enough yet. I'm just going to use the actual zippers I have. So, but these are, this is a 22-inch zipper because what happens is you take these zippers and you lay them out. I'm going to get it out of here. Get it out of here. And we'll probably have time to do two different. That's a long zipper. I might be able to reuse part of it. I don't know if I'm going to use this one or not. But anyways, what you do is you're going to take this zipper. Good morning. Good morning. So you'll take the zipper. Yeah, that's a very long zipper. You'll take the zipper and once it does that placement stitch, and then you're going to put this in there and then you're going to tape it down. You're going to want to tape it down. Good morning, Miss Cynthia. Once you get it all taped down, what happens is it actually stitches that zipper down. Y'all, it takes the hard part of doing zippers out of it. It's called Zipper by the Yard. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. Usually comes with pulls and on it to put on it. I think this one does. I think this one actually has, yeah, it does. It has a whole thing of it. So I don't know. Maybe we'll do one zipper bag and then maybe we'll try this. Maybe we'll try this. So thank you for that. So y'all, I like y'all to help me out too. So I'll leave this one out. I'll leave that one out. So let me get a shorter zipper in there. But anyway, so you're going to take that zipper, you're going to tape it in there. I'm just going to go over the process and then we're going to do it. Do you have to sew? Do you have to have the sew embroidery machine for this? So you just have to have an embroidery machine because this is actually all done in the hoop. The whole thing is done in the hoop. So you do not have to have a sew embroidery, just the embroidery. Thank you, Miss Irie. Thank you. So we'll do that. Do you have a stitch on your machine that does the placement? So it's an embroidery machine or it's an embroidery design. Okay. Hot Flash. It's killing me. Hot Flash is Hot Flash. Hello. The embroidery design is actually does the whole thing for you. So What it'll do is once I get it loaded in there. Okay, cool, Chris. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Maybe we'll do the second one, because we'll do one and then we'll do the second one. Thank you for your help, Chris. Thanks for your help. I appreciate it. They're gonna walk me through it. Yeah, it's actually kind of cool. So I have embroidery designs. So we're gonna do one in the hoop, and then we'll do another one. And we should have time. We got 2 hours, y'all. We have 2 hours. So it does it in two hoopings. The first hooping will do it'll do the back of the bag. And then your second hooping will actually do the front of the bag with the zipper placement on it and everything. So are we ready to have some fun? Good morning, Gracie. Good morning. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and load a design in here. So I already have the designs loaded onto my into my machine. So we'll just have to pull them off there and we'll walk through you. So get your coffee out, y'all. Get your coffee out. We're fixing to have some fun. Carrie. Oh my gosh, Miss Tammy. All right. We got a few more people in here, so let me show y'all. It was phenomenal. The class was phenomenal. Look what I created. I'm going to keep showing because I'm excited, and it's like 3D. It is like 3D, y'all. 3D. So how cool is that? And I'm going to be creating more of these. So we'll be having some fun. We'll be having some, right? Is that not cool? Look at the stitching. Each one of those little guys are embroidered. So I'm going to be embroidering a pink one. I want a pink one. So, but it's going to be a different design. So I'll keep y'all posted. on it. So it's kind of cool. All right. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to move this over here. So we're going to turn you guys this way. That way you can see the process of loading the design. Here. So we're going to come here. Can we see that? I need to come this way. There we go. Right? Isn't that cool? Isn't it very cool? It was the funnest class, y'all. If you ever had the chance to take Anita Good Design, that is a cool class. Nice gentleman, too. Okay. So we're going to do embroidery. I've loaded the designs on my thumb drive. So I'm going to click on that pocket, click on the USB. So where are we at? Zipper. Okay. So the zipper bag. So we have I want to do a circle one. So we're going to do a circle one today too. But I'm thinking that we're going to do... So we're going to do so that was AZ front 6. So we want to come back up here, 6 back. So we're going to grab the back of 6 because each one is a little different on this one. So it has a few different designs on here. So we're going to go with 6. Just remember 6 for me because I'm liable to forget 6 by the time we get to the front. So we're going to hit set and we're going to click embroidery. So that pattern is 6.76 by 6. So I need at least an 8x8 hoop. So come down here. I'll usually just use thinking that will work. So what we're going to do is we're going to hoop some no-show. Come back this way. Come back of this way. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to hoop some no-show mesh. I like to use the no-show mesh because it's soft in the bag, especially when you turn it inside out. You don't have like the crunch of the other ones. So I hoop a no-show. So we'll end up using lots of stabilizer, y'all. Those stabilizer companies are like, yep, they like Carrie. She uses lots of stabilizer, but that's okay. So we're going to hoop this in here. Like I said, this design, there's so many companies out there that have so many different designs. Being I took that class this weekend, I decided to go ahead and use an Anita Good Design. So Mirror. Oh, thank you, coolest dad. Thank you. I'll get that mirror. See, y'all got to remind me. You got to remind me on these things. So you got to remind me. So thanks for reminding me. Thanks for reminding me. Okay. So got that hoop. Tighten that up. So you have it in there. You want to make sure it's pretty tight. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for reminding me. Thanks for reminding me. So you get that hooped in there. Okay. So once you get that hooped in there, we're going to put this into the embroidery machine. Into the embroidery machine. So then we're going to come back this way. So we're going to need a batting, and I want to make sure we're getting here. There we go. And I need to turn that light down because on the one, let me turn that light down a little bit. Light. Is that better, guys? Or do we need to go? No, we don't want that one. There. I think that's better. Let me look at, hold on. I need to look at my instructions right quick. I just downloaded these. I'm going to look at my instructions right quick because I think it's make sure I'm not telling you guys wrong. So yeah, okay. There we go. All right, so what we'll do is we're going to run that placement stitch, but we got to put a color in here. We got to put a color in here. What color fabric do we want to have fun with? What color fabric do we want to have fun with? I'm thinking I like purple. Y'all like purple? I'm thinking we're going to go purple. We're going to go purple. So we are going to... I have fun with variegated, y'all. I have fun with variegated, so we're going to use a variegated. I should have charged that light above my head, but that's okay. All right, Miss Lisa, thank you. You like purple? I like purple. Y'all, and I found this variegated. I got extra different things of variegated thread this weekend. Because, of course, you know, you go take a class at a quilt store, and what happens? You end up finding all kinds of cool things. So, and of course, the nice thing is when we took a class there, you got a discount when you take the class. So you got to take advantage of that. Y'all, I don't know how many of y'all know this, but when you have the these spools of thread, the nice thing is the bottom pops down. The bottom pops down, and it's where you can put your thread. So when you're done sewing, you can just put it back there and it pops back up and your thread doesn't come unraveled. So yeah, you always have to get more thread, right? You always have to get more thread. And they actually had some open spools of thread. Y'all, they had open spools of thread that was used in classes for $2. I'm like, okay, I got quite a few of them. I'm like, I don't care if it's already been opened. Save me the hassle of opening the thing. So let me say, I got a few of those. So did you find black? Yes, Chris, I did. I will have to show you the quilt because we did that whole quilt yesterday. We did the whole quilt yesterday. That was crazy. That was completely crazy. And it's stitched out so pretty. Stitched out so pretty. And y'all, I'm not really a cow fan, but I kind of like the cow. You saw it yesterday, just missed the thread choice. Yeah, I did get the variegated thread. I did get the variegated thread. So thank you. I appreciate that. But that was a lot of fun yesterday. I didn't know if it was possible, if I could get it done in a day, but we got it done in a day. We got it done in a day. So it worked out really well. So worked out really well. Okay, so first stitch. So this is going to be the good morning, Miss Abby. Oh my gosh, high five to you, Miss Abby. That is 6 days in a row. I am so proud of you. I'm excited. Y'all, Miss Abby is actually able to answer questions for us too, also. So I was here the whole I know. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so we have the backing loaded. So what we're going to do is we'll stitch out that backing first. Once we get the backing stitched out, then we'll pull it out of here and then we'll trim it. The cow quilt is beautiful. I saw it. I just couldn't be in the. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Pearl. So we'll get the back of it stitched out and then we'll move to the front. So we're going to go ahead and run that placement line. So what'll happen is it goes and it runs the placement stitch of actually where you're going to put your fabric. So we could do, Marnie, I had an 8 sale, bought 25 spools of Floriani thread, not open, for 50 cents. Oh my gosh. Nice, Marnie. Nice catch there, Marnie. Very, very cool. So we're going to run this, and then we're going with purple, y'all. We're going to go with purple because I like purple. Everybody likes purple. Purple is a pretty choice. So I'm just going to, doesn't require it, but I like to add a little batting to my, so we're going to add a little batting on top of there. And then we are going to use a fun purple. We're going purple, y'all. We are going purple. Yours doesn't have the placement before. So depending on what pattern you use, they have different ones. Like I said, each one is a little different. You just they usually give you a PDF to go by the design. So he said, being I took the class this weekend and with Anita, good design, I decided to go ahead and use that design. So we're using that one. Okay. So I have that placement stitch. Now this is going to stitch this down. Once it'll stitch it down. Once it stitches it down, then it'll do the quilting on there. So thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the roses. Thanks for the roses. Y'all are awesome. Did you find fabrics to go with the thread? Oh, Chris. That is cool. When you find those estate sales or find those cool things, it's like, oh my gosh, yes. So I'm excited. I love doing zipper bags, y'all. I love doing zipper bags. I am not a fan of zippers sewing them without the embroidery hoop. But y'all, when I figured out I could do zipper bags in the hoop, that's a game changer. It's a total game changer, y'all. So I'm going to see if I can find a purple zipper. Purple zipper. I think that one's big enough too. Yay. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and run that quilting in there. So what it's gonna do is it'll go ahead and stitch all that quilting out there. So, and the fun thing is that purple variegated it just is gonna be fun on there. So it doesn't really pop out, but you can see it. Yes, right, Cynthia? So you gotta have an embroidery machine. You have to have an embroidery machine. So it has to do embroidery. I'm thinking purple, y'all. Purple's going to go with that. I have that, but not the... So, oh, thanks, Grace. Thanks. Good morning, Jeanette. Bart, what machine do you have? What machine do you have? Right? There's no such thing as enough fabric, right? No such thing. So, tell you what, while that's stitching, let me show you all the fabric. Because I got a few. Because they were having a sell on the fabric. Check these out. So they had they were yard for like $4 or something. I can't remember exact, but it wasn't very much. So, are these not cool? And then of course I got the discount off of that. So I got a discount off that on top of that. So I got these. So there was like a black one and 2 blue ones. I got those. And then y'all check these out. I don't know why, but I just liked these. I liked these. These were kind of cool. Because there was a black one and a pink one. So I got 2 of the black ones and a pink ones. Local quilt shop this weekend. Are they grunge? What's grunge? Tell me what grunge is. I don't know what grunge is. So they're 1 yard pieces. 1 yard pieces here. And then y'all, so I'm doing a dinosaur quilt for the one of the grandkids, and I found this one. It says Stomp Roar. How cool is that? The first two. Oh, the first two. The first two. It's cotton fabric. Cotton fabric. Right? I know, I needed that one. It goes right along with the dinosaur. So I'm like, oh my gosh, how perfect is that? How perfect is that? So worked out really well. So yes, I got fabric. I did get a little fabric, so but yeah. Yep. So yeah, it's all cotton fabric. It's all cotton fabric. So but very pretty. Very pretty. Thank you. Grunge looks a lot like sponge painted back. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, see, y'all are teaching me new things too. Y'all are teaching me new things too. Good morning, Kelly. These quilt stores know how to make right. I know, Cynthia. I'm like, I really don't need those, but you know what? Hey. And then of course they had these bags of 10 by 10 batting. 10 by 10 batting for $2. And there was 10 in each of them. Do they come folded that way? They came folded that way. Baxter, we are doing zipper bags today. It's just stitching the back of it. So I'm just sharing as we're stitching the back of it. So it's going to stitch, because what it'll do is it'll stitch the background of the bag, and then it'll do the first one. So, right? I know. I was like, it was 10 pieces of 10 by 10 for $2. I'm like, really don't need it, but it was already cut into the 10 by 10. So I'm like, I can't help myself. So why not? Right. So, but I was very proud of myself. I didn't spend too much. So I didn't spend too much this weekend, but I had a lot of fun. It was awesome. So thank y'all for joining. Fun. Yeah. All right. So we're going to come back this way. Did you learn? I did, Mandy. Oh my gosh. I had it's like an abstract 3D process that we did this weekend. So kind of cool. So it's almost done. So what it's doing is it's actually quilting like little squares on there. So it's going to be cool. Going to be cool. It's exciting how these embroidery things can do. Sell notions and fabrics during class breaks. Check. Right? Yes. And shout out to Miss Cynthia, because she reminded me to get that variegated thread. So I did have a perfect weekend. I had a completely perfect weekend. It was a lot of fun, Miss Mandy. So, and then I hung out with my husband yesterday afternoon after class. So, I mean, we were done doing that quilt by 9 o'clock yesterday morning. So that worked out really well. So, and y'all, I have the quilt sitting here. Is that not cool? The quilt turned out so cool. I was excited. Super excited. I have to say that's probably the fastest I've ever done a quilt. Miss Abby, I did a quilt yesterday morning. I have to tell you, Miss Abby. So I started at 1:30 yesterday morning and finished at 9 a.m. The whole process. I mean, we literally pieced that quilt. And then once it was all pieced, we sandwiched that quilt. Then we quilted that quilt. And then we binded that quilt. So the whole process, Miss Abby, the whole process. So, okay. So now we're going to take this out of the hoop and we'll come over here. Always make sure you hold that when you pull because sometimes they're like, they get, what do you call it? Kind of rough coming in and out of there. So, yeah. My first class in the hoop at Anita Design, we did purse, but put our initials on. How cool is that, Marnie? How cool is that? Okay. So we're going to come back this way. Thanks for the follow, y'all. Thanks for the follow. So if you're just joining, we are doing a zipper bag today. We're doing a zipper bag today. I'm going to come back over that way. So what we've done is, as you can see, we've stitched this one. You can see the back. You can see the back on the stitching there. You can see the back of the stitching. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop this one out of here now. We're going to pop this out because this one's all done. So we'll get it trimmed here in a minute. But what we need to do is we need to hoop another piece of that no-show. So we're going to hoop another piece of that no-show because what's next? What's next? The front of the bag. And on the front of the bag, what do you need? You need a zipper. You need a zipper. So here comes the fun, y'all. Here comes the fun. So we're going to take that no-show mesh. And y'all, they had really nice scissors for $4. Yeah, I was just having fun. Really? It's like, really, Carrie? Yep, really, Carrie? Okay, so we're going to put this in the hoop. Make sure it's tight. You always want to make sure it's like tight. It's like a drum. No-show mesh. So the no-show mesh is, it's like, as you can see, it's like really soft. It's really soft and you can see through it and it doesn't show through the back of a piece of fabric. So a piece of fabric that goes on it and you won't see it behind it. You're not going to see it behind it. So it works out really well. It works out really well and you can't really feel it behind it either. So yeah, I like to use it like if you're going to do on clothes or something because it doesn't hurt against your skin. It's like soft against your skin. Your husband will appreciate you buying your own scissors. So, yeah, right. I know. Right, Chris? Yes. Yes. He definitely is going to appreciate that. So he's like, quit using my scissors. Quit using my scissors there. So, okay. So we're going to come back. We're turning here. We're turning here. So what we're going to do is we're going to load, come back that way. We're going to load the other design. So we've got this one all stitched out. We don't need it anymore. So we're going to hit that return button and we're going to hit delete. Yeah, I'll tell you, the first time I did that, I'm like, I don't want to delete it off of my thumb drive or that, you know, but it doesn't delete it off there. It just deletes it out of the current project you're working in. So you don't have to worry about that. So go ahead and hit the delete, say, okay, it goes away. It's gone, but not gone off the thumb drive or not gone off of your machine, just gone out of the current project you're working in. So we're going to go back in here and we use number 6. We use number 6 on there. So we're going to hit that thumb drive again. And we're going to go into the zipper. We're going to go into the zipper. So we're going to come down here. So the first ones in this project are your backing. So it always has all the backing in there. So then we move down here and it goes to the front side. So we did number 6. So we're going to grab number 6 and we're going to hit set. So what that does is it sets it into the machine. So, and you'll see that it has all these steps in here. So, and when it does applique or like zippers or anything like that, it'll change the color because it'll stop. It stops every time you need to do something. So it works out okay. So we're going to hit embroidery. So 12 minutes, y'all. It takes about 12 minutes to stitch this out. So what we'll do is we'll run that running stitch. And as you can see on here, I'm hoping y'all can see on here, it'll stitch out that outline and then it's going to stitch exactly where that zipper needs to go. So we're going to come back over this way, And if I miss a question, I'm sorry. If I miss a question, I'm sorry. So we already have the no-show mesh stabilizer here. So what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and hit start. Like I said, it's going to run that placement stitch. It'll put that placement stitch. It's going to run around the fabric, around exactly the square, the size it needs to be. It'll run that, and then it's going to run the placement stitch of the zipper. The zipper is the first thing you put in this bag. It'll be the first thing we put in this bag is the zipper. So on this process, what you'll need is you're going to need a zipper and you're going to need tape. And again, I just use the paper medical tape. It works out really well. It's kind of sturdy. Doesn't matter if you have it on there because it'll what do you call it? You can sew right through it. It doesn't hurt anything. So. Okay, so on here, you'll see that it has that placement thing. So it'll have one side, the other side, and then it'll have a stitch right down the middle. The stitch right down the middle is actually where the zipper goes. So you want to make sure you line it up right there on the middle. So I'm going to pull this out a little bit. Pull it out a little bit. So you have your zipper here. So it ran this line, it ran that line, and then your center line. So you're going to take that zipper and you're going to line it up right in the middle of there and make sure that because you have on the zipper, you have, if you're using just a regular zipper, you have that metal piece on the one end and then you have your zipper on the other end. So you're going to have to do your zipper up. You're going to have to do that zipper up. So you don't have to use, you do not have to use a zipper foot, Cynthia, embroidery foot only, embroidery foot only. So you do not change your foot out on this. So, you're going to get excited here, Miss Cynthia. So, okay. So we're going to run this. I'm going to put it here and you're going to center it right on there. So you're going to take that tape because you want to tape it down. You want to make sure it stays where it's at. So what I do is I hold this down and I'm going to tape this side down. Tape this side down. Because then you'll cut it after the fact. And you want it closed. You want it closed when you're doing that first hooping. When you're doing that first hooping, you're going to have it closed. So then I'm going to move this over here. I'm moving it here so it's hard underneath, and that way it stays right there. So I'm going to hold that in place. Hold that in place. And that way it stays. So now it is taped into there, right there on that running stitch, right there on the running stitch. Oh, this will totally spoil you, Marnie. This is why I don't know how to do zippers. This is literally why I do not know how to do zippers very well, because I do them in the hoop. I always do them in the hoop because the hoop will do them for me. The embroidery machine does them for me. So I'm going to place that back in here. I'm going to place it back in here. So what it is your next stitch. If you look at your next stitch here, your next stitch is just a line down one side and a line down the other side. So what it's going to do is it's going to actually stitch down that zipper. It's going to stitch down that zipper. So the programs, what you talking about, Cynthia? Okay. So we're going to hit start. And if you see, it's going to start stitching down the side of your zipper. You want to make sure that on the zipper that it's wide enough to go in between the placement lines. You want to make sure it's wide enough to go in between those placement lines. So, and it kind of does a double stitch on there. Not yet. Not yet. You don't need to open it yet. This process, you're just stitching it down. This process, you're just stitching it down. You don't have to open it until you get further down into the process. So, because it's not going to come across this way. It's just stitching down the side. It's just stitching down the side. So now what we're going to do, this gets exciting, y'all. This gets exciting because now what it's going to do is it's going to stitch the top half of the bag and the back side of the bag. It'll do the lining and the top at the same time. So we got to pull this out of here. We're going to pull this out of here. And remember, hold that arm. Hold that arm. So when you're pulling it out, we're going to come over here. I'm going to turn y'all this way. Turn y'all this way here so we can look at this process here. So As you can see, it's completely stitched down. It is completely stitched down. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn it to the back side, because what it's going to do is it's going to sew, because you have a top on your bag here. So it's going to actually sew that top. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of fabric and we're going to lay it right side down. And then we're going to come to this side of that stitch. That way it's laid there, and we're going to tape it down. So, but we're going to do the same thing on the inside, because you're going to do the lining and the top of the bag. So you want to make sure that you get both in there. So we're going to come to the lining first, and on the back side, you're going to do it right sides down on here. And this is going to be the lining. So let me find some fabric right quick that is for the lining. I mean, we could use purple on the inside too. Guess it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You know what the heck with it? We'll just use purple on the inside too. What the heck? I have a lighter purple and I got a darker purple. So we're going to do lighter purple on the inside. We're going to do a lighter purple on the inside. And I'm going to take this piece of fabric. I'm just going to cut it in half, because a half a piece is plenty of fabric there. So we're just going to cut this in half here. So on the lining, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take that piece of lining and I'm going to line it up down here in the bottom. I'm going to go past that line. I'm going to go past that line right here like this. Am I going the right way? Hold on a minute. I'm trying to think here. I'm doing the top there. I need to come down this way. I need to come down this way. Hold on a minute. Let me see which one it's doing. Let me put it back in here, because I want to make sure which one I'm doing here. Because it's doing the bottom of the bag. It's doing the bottom of the bag first. It's doing the bottom. It's doing the bottom. So the bottom of the bag, it does the bottom of the bag. You have to see where it's at. So bottom of the bag, because it'll place there. And then once it stitches that, it's going to come back this way. It'll come back this way. So we want to make sure which one it's stitching. So I put it back in there and I see exactly where it's lined up at. So where it is lined up at. So, okay. So we're going to put it here, and you're going to grab your tape, because I've put on the wrong spot before. I put it in the wrong spot. Carrie is, oh yes. Thank you, Cynthia. Right, Veronica? It is cool. So we're going to tape each side of this. We're going to tape each side, and we still leave the zipper where it's at. We still leave the zipper where it's at, y'all. So we're going to tape this in place, get this taped in place. So now we have this taped. So now we're going to go to the front side. Now we're going to go to the front side here. And so now it's going to do this side too. So we want to make sure, let's see. We're going to probably put a piece of batting here. I want to put a piece of batting. I want batting on this bag, because it gives it some texture. Gives it some texture. So I'm going to put batting here too. I'm going to put some batting here too. But we're just going to do that one placement stitch, and then we will add batting when we put it in there. Then we'll add batting when we put it in there. So now we need a dark one on the front side. We need a dark one on the front side. So we're going to take that piece of fabric here on the front side. Yes, so now we're on the front side. So we did the back side. We taped it down. Now we have the front side. So now we're going to take this and we're going to tape it down here. Same spot. That way it'll stitch down. So we're going to line it up here. You want to make sure it's below that stitch that's stitched on the zipper. That way it grabs this. So I'm going to place that there, place that one there. Then we're going to place this one here. And we'll add batting after the fact. We'll add batting after the fact. Okay. So now we have the front and the back right sides down, right side down. So now we'll hoop this back in the hoop. Once we get it hooped back in the hoop, we'll run that stitch. We'll run that stitch. But I need to, we're going to kind of fold this one down here like this. And I'm going to tape this down. That way we have a spot for it to stitch, because it's going to have, it's on this, when it's on the side of the hook thing, you got to be careful on that. We're making a zipper bag in the hoop, Christy. A zipper bag in the hoop. Okay. So now we're going to go here. So now we're going to rehoop this. I'm going to fold that down. I'm going to load this in there. Make sure you hold on to that arm when you push it in there. Push that in there. I'm going to grab this, pull it back this way, pull it back that way. So now we're going to take and we're going to run that stitch. It's just going to run one stitch. It'll just run one stitch here. So we're going to say, okay. So it'll come this way and then it'll go back that way. I'm excited, y'all. This is going to be a pretty bag. I love purple. Who loves purple? Purple is fun, y'all. Purple is fun. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we got to remove it back out of the hoop. You hoop and unhoop this thing a few times, y'all. You hoop and you unhoop this thing a few times. So we'll come back over this way. I'll show y'all. Y'all are going to be turning with me. Y'all going to keep turning with me today. Okay, so now we're back over here. So we need to go to the back of the bag. Back of the bag. So we're going to untape this. Untape this here. I'm going to put you on the iron. I'm going to untape. And you're going to fold that bag down. You're going to fold that bag down this way. Because what's going to happen. So this is the lining of the bag, y'all. This is the lining of the bag. So I'm going to pull it down this way. And I'm going to put a little tape on the bottom. Put a little tape on the bottom to hold it here. A little tape to hold it there. So that is the back of the bag. So there is your lining. There is your lining. So now what we need to do is we're going to come to the front of the bag. This is where we're going to add the batting in too. This is where we're going to add the batting. So we're going to take this tape off here. We're going to take the tape off here. We're using my iron over here. And then I'm going to take this piece of batting and I'm just going to line it up right there on that line. Right there on that line right there. And I'm going to pull this down. I'm going to pull this down right over the top of the batting. So I didn't put it in the stitch because if I would have put it in the stitch, it would have made like a really, what do you call it? Thick seam. So we didn't have it in the seam. So again, we ran that placement stitch, okay, on the front of it. Once we ran that placement stitch, and you can see what I'm doing is I'm actually just lining up the edge of that batting right there on that seam, and then I'm pulling it down. So now what it's going to do is it's going to actually run a placement stitch. So it's actually going to run a placement stitch around there, and it's going to stitch that down. It will eventually come across and quilt on there too. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that. So I'm going to put that down. I'm going to remove the tape off the zipper because it's not going anywhere. Remove the tape off the zipper because that way we don't have to do that later. Get that tape off there. Are we having fun this morning, y'all? I love doing zipper bags. Zipper bags are fun, y'all. Zipper bags are fun. Okay. So, yay! I'm excited. I'm excited because I'm loving the purple. I'm loving the purple. Okay, so we're coming back this way. We're coming back this way, y'all. Coming back this way. So then we're going to reload it in here. We're going to reload it in here. So, yeah, this is y'all, I'm telling you, the embroidery machine has me spoiled on zippers. I don't do zippers. This is why I don't do zippers. This is literally why I do not do zippers. Okay, so I'm going to hold that down. I'm going to go ahead and hit stitch on there. So the majority of your zipper bags you have, it doesn't have the option to add the batting in there. It's just something I do. So it's something that I add into there. So what it's doing is it's coming across, it's stitching across, it's stitched the bottom, and then it came across and it's stitched on that side. So then it's going to come this way. And this right here is where you can add an extra step. You can add monogramming into the middle of it. You can add an embroidery into the middle of it. We could throw a transfer onto the front of it. Maybe we'll do a transfer on the next one. So now what it's going to do is, you know how it's stitched that quilting design on this one. So now it's going to do the exact same thing for the front of the bag. It'll do the exact same thing for the front of the bag. So it's going to go ahead and stitch. So we're going to let it stitch that design there. So, oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome, Suzanne. But yeah, if you were adding like a monogram and an embroidery or something like that, this is where you would want to stop, add that embroidery into there, and then go back to step 5 on here. Yeah, by request, yes, Nancy. So send me a message. Send me a message, Nancy, because I can make one, whatever you need. You give me a theme and we can do them. So. This is going to be pretty. I'm really liking the purple. Really liking the purple. I have quite a few different ones. Designs just came out with a cell phone crossbody bag in the hoop. Y'all, Juju just came out with a new design, cell phone crossbody bag in the hoop. That sounds cool. That one sounds cool. Miss Marnie is sharing here. Thanks for sharing, y'all. Thanks for sharing and thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hanging out. So what we can do while that's stitching, let's go ahead and get this, get the other one trimmed up. We'll let that one stitch. So we're going to come this way. We're going to let that one stitch. And what we're going to do is, like I said, these stitch out really quick. They stitch out really quick. So what we're going to do is, so we have this one. We got to get it trimmed up. We got to get it trimmed up. So we're going to take a ruler. Ruler. Where's my rulers? I'm grabbing a ruler. Hold on, guys. I rearranged this weekend, and when I rearranged, I put my rulers in a different spot. I'm like, hey, hello, you might need those. So it says to do like a 1/4 inch. I do a 1/2 inch. I leave like a 1/2 inch around the edge of it. So you can trim more later if you need to. You can trim more later if you need to. So I'm going to take and trim around this. So like I said, I'm going to do like a 1/2 inch. I'm going to do like a 1/2 inch on this. That way we make sure that it actually gets there. And we have extra stabilizer. I will save that stabilizer. I save my scraps. I try to save my scraps from everything. Not those little pieces, but thank you, Cynthia. Because what we're going to do, this piece right here is actually going to go into the hoop. Into the hoop. Okay. So now we have this one. We have this one all trimmed out. So, like I said, this is actually, isn't that cool? I'm loving the stitch. The stitch is kind of cool. The stitch is kind of cool. So this will actually go into the hoop because this is the back of the bag. This is the back of the bag on here. So I think our next step is probably going to be putting the front of the bag on. So we'll look and see. I've done zipper bags so many times. I try to watch what we're doing there. So try to watch what we're doing. So we're going to come back this way. And we want to make sure that we get that zipper open when we need to. So make sure we get the zipper open when we need to. And I'm thinking our next one, So, Anita, good design, Bev. I did a class with them this weekend, so I decided what the heck, I'm going to use their design today. So, I think there's some free ones out there that you can look at. So there's so many different ones out there, but they more or less use the same. Oh my gosh, Bev, I had so much fun. 2 days of just sewing everything. So met some really nice people. So that made it really cool. So I completely enjoyed class, y'all. So probably top sections above zipper might be next. That's what I'm thinking, Chris. That is what I'm thinking. So I'm glad I have somebody else on here that sends zipper bags. That way, just in case, I sit there and go, you know how sometimes you have that brain fart. So, but anyways, yes, we are doing zipper bags in the hoop today, y'all. And don't forget your coffee. Get your coffee and have a drink of coffee. So. Okay, so looks like the next thing. Why is it? Hold on, I need to look at the instructions because it's like doing the bottom again. So doom, 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 doom. We did that. We did that. Place the hoop back in there. Run that one. That is weird because it's actually wanting to do, well, we'll go ahead and run that. Anita, good design is a program which tells the machine what to do. Yes, Jeanette. So, so it's an actual design. You have so many of those designs that come across, and this is just a company that makes those designs. It is a company that makes those designs. There's a lot of different ones out there. So, a lot of different ones out there. So. I think it's just running that stitch after it quilted it, maybe. Thank y'all for joining. I appreciate you hanging out. So then it should go to the top. Yay. Okay. So now we're going to pull it back out of the hoop. We're doing a zipper bag. We are doing an in the hoop zipper bag. So we're going to pull this back out. Reminder, hold that thing. Hold that there. So we're going to come back over here. Come back over here. So we're going to come this way. Right? They're a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun. So what we've done is we have the bottom done. We have the bottom done. And then we have the, and you know what I did? That's what it was. I wasn't supposed to pull the back down yet, but that's okay. That's okay. It's all right. So we are doing zipper bags in the hoop. We are doing zipper bags in the hoop. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the placement stitch for the top because we have the top. You were watching yesterday's live and did get a notice that you came on. Awesome. Lots of fun. Lots of fun. So now we're going to add the top of the bag because we have the bottom of the bag done. Now we need to do the top of the bag. So on the back side, we got to do that lining. So what we're going to do is we're going to line that lining up right here. And then we'll tape that down. And then we'll come to the front and we'll do the same thing. And you're just going to line it up. And you want to do it, line it up above the stitch that's already there. You want to line it up above that stitch that's already there. That way you make sure that you get it stitched. I've had the problem where I didn't line it up correctly and then it didn't grab it when it said I had just come. That's weird. That is weird. Very weird. Okay, so I'm going to grab a piece of, so here's a piece of the fabric on there. So it said you just came on. Huh. Weird. Okay, so I'm going to line it up here. Like I said, you want to make sure that you go above that stitch. You want to make sure you go above the stitch that's already stitched there. So, yeah, it's weird that sometimes they give you the correct notifications. Sometimes they don't give you the correct notifications. So we're going to tape that there. I'm reusing tape, y'all. Reusing tape. We're going to tape this one here. And like I said, make sure it's above that seam. Because what we'll do is we're going to tape it down this way. Once we tape it down this way, we're going to fold it over. We're going to fold it over. So we're going to come back this way. Come back this way. And then we're going to do the same thing on the front. So we need a dark piece. We need a dark piece here. Let's say use that piece. That piece is probably big enough. Maybe we can trim. You know what? I'm not even going to do that. Not even going to do that. I thought about trimming off the bottom, but I don't want to end up messing it up and it not working. So almost thinking, no, we want dark. We want dark. I got plenty of purple. So we're going to use, that's a light one. So I'm going to take and trim this one in half, and we're going to use half of that one for the top. Half of that one for the top. Y'all, I just had, there they are. I was going to say, I just had my blue scissors. Oop. Okay, so now we're going to take this one down like this. And we got to remember when we go to the, go back there, we need to remember that we're adding that batting in there. We need to remember they're adding the batting. Good morning, Nikki. We are making zipper bags in the hoop, ma'am. Zipper bags in the hoop. Miss Nikki is new to the embroidery machine, so we're going to get her doing all kinds. She already did. I'm so proud of her. She already did a in the hoop, edge to edge quilting and did phenomenal at it. So lots of fun. Okay, so we have the front taped, and just as a reminder, you have right side down across that top seam. Because what it's going to do is it's going to come and it's going to stitch that top seam, and then you're going to flip it up. Then you're going to flip that up. So we're going to come back over this way. Come back over this way. And I realized that that's what I did on the other one, on the backing, on the lining. That is what I did. Okay. So now we're going to run the stitch, and your zipper is still closed. Your zipper is still closed. So let's go ahead and hit that one. Thank you, Colestad. Is this the first time you're making? So it's the first time making this one. It is the first time making this one. I've made so many different zipper bags, but first time making this one. So I like to do the first. Sometimes I like to do them with you guys the first time. So, you know, that way you guys can see how it is making it the first time too. So, and then we'll make it again. We'll do another one. Like I said, we have plenty of time. We'll make a couple of them. We got plenty of time. So we're going to turn back this way. Turn back of this way. So now what we're going to do is, so we have this one, and we want to add batting in there. We want to add a piece of batting. So we're going to take a piece of this batting. I want to make sure and cut it. Do I have a piece over here? That one might be big enough. That one, it looks like that one is big enough. So what I'm doing is I'm lining that batting up right there below that stitch line. Lining the batting right below the stitch line. And then I'm going to pull this piece of fabric down. I'm going to untape it first. Untape it first. And then I'm going to pull that piece of fabric down right over the top of that batting. Right over the top of the batting. It does not call for that. You do not have to have the batting. I just like to have batting in my bags because it just gives it a cool texture and makes them, I don't know, that much more stronger. So I'm going to tape that one there. And I think that's what I did last time. And that's why it stitched it, because it wasn't supposed to be over that way, but we're going to have both of them over that way. Because I don't think it's going to hurt anything. It's just going to be stitched down. The lining will be stitched down too. So no biggie, no biggie. So I'm going to pull this one this way. And you see where it's leaving and opening. leaving an opening for that zipper. So then we have our lining and our front, And again, so you'll see on here, I'm going to pull this down that way you can see. So I've actually I'm just lining that batting right there along that seam, And then I'm pulling this up this way. And then what'll happen is it'll come and it's going to stitch that down, and then it'll do the quilting in there too. So, and then on the backing, we have it pulled up. So we're going to turn it back this way. Well, let me get this one. I'll pull that. That one's good. So I'm going to turn y'all back this way. Turn you back this way. Just as a reminder, you want to make sure you hold that when you're placing it in there. Hold that when you're placing it in there. And then we're going to take this, line you back up there, and pull that through. I could have taped it down. I should have taped it down. I had it taped down before I pulled it down and showed y'all. But that's okay. That is okay. I'm actually going to pull it out and let me pull it out. I'm like, yeah, do I, don't I? Because what happened is it came off. So we're going to put that back in there. Line it up there. Pull this down. And then we'll put it back in there again. There. Okay. So now we're going to run that next stitch. We're going to run that next stitch there. And the top of the bag is not very big. So you'll see this is actually the top of the bag right there. But it's still not sewing across that zipper yet. So that puts it in place. And now what'll happen is it'll actually come and it'll do that quilting. So how it did the quilting here, it's going to do the quilting again. So we're going to run that next stitch. And we're getting close, y'all. We are getting close. Thanks for the heart, me. That's very sweet of you. Thank you. And thanks for hanging out with us this morning, y'all. Thanks for hanging out this morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. And I think on our next one, we're going to actually add a fun transfer right here. We'll add a fun transfer just to give it a different look. So we'll run this again. We'll run this one again. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Jean. Thank you, guys. So it's going to run the stitch all the way around now. It'll run that stitch all the way around now. So we're going to get that one. And y'all, we're 2 stitches away. We are 2 stitches away from being done. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to pull this out. Pull this out of here. Because what we're going to do is we're actually going to take that lining that we just did. And take the lining we just did. And we're going to line it up. But first we want to unzip it. We want to unzip it first. Don't forget to unzip it. You know how many times I've forgotten to unzip? How many times I have forgot to unzip, y'all. That is no fun. It is, so it hasn't, no. So the zipper, it says you completed your first stage of Clue Quest. What is that? I don't know what Clue Quest is. Okay, so we're going to take, and you'll see, you want to make sure that it's within that line. So you're kind of lining it up here. Kind of line it up, and you want to kind of tape it down once you get it lined up. Lined up there. So we're going to tape it and take, and like I said, open that zipper, y'all. Open the zipper. Make sure you open the zipper, y'all. So we're going to take and tape that down because I have that one there. Line that one up there. Tape this one down. Make sure we're lined up here. So we're just going to tape it all 4 corners, y'all. Tape all 4 corners. That way it doesn't move while it's stitching down. So we've done the back of the bag, we've done the front of the bag, and we'll add lining in the next step. We'll add lining in that next step, y'all. So we're going to put that back in there. Run that back in there. So now what it's going to do is it's actually going to stitch all the way around the bag. It's going to stitch all the way around that bag. Oh, no need to apologize. You're good. You're good. I just don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. How cool is that? Oh my gosh, that is cool. Okay, I don't know what that was, but it was cool. Okay, and I came unthreaded. Okay, so we're going to go there. So like I said, it's going to go all the way around. And we're going to do this a second time. We'll do this a second time because you figure out. So what you do is you do it that first time and you figure out, it's like, oh, okay, now I see what it's doing. And that way you kind of know what the steps are. So then we'll come back and we'll do it again. We'll come back and do it again, y'all. But y'all, I lined that up pretty good. Do you see that? I lined it up pretty good. Not too bad. Not too bad. So the next step is we'll have to do the lining. So we'll have to turn it over and do the lining. This is going to be a fun zipper bag, y'all. A fun zipper bag. Okay. So now we're gonna actually pull it off. Something in your fan club. Did you do a goal for gifts, mate? I haven't even been in there. I don't know. I know they have so many things going on right now, and I have no earthly idea. I should probably look at them and see. I don't know. Okay, so now, it looks a little scary at this point because you have the backing all sewed up. The zipper is on the inside. Make sure you open that zipper. So now we need to come to the inside. Because what we're going to do is we're going to put that other piece of lining here. We're going to put the other piece of the lining here, and you didn't have to stitch the lining down. I just stitched the lining down. We won't stitch the next one down. It's okay. So we have the lining stitched down. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take that other piece of lining. You're going to take that other piece of lining here, and you're going to tape it in here. You're going to tape it on here. So you're going to take it here. You're just going to tape right over the top. Because what it's going to do is it's going to run that next stitch. And what it does is it leaves an opening at the bottom. So it'll come across here, come here, and here. And it'll leave that opening at the bottom that'll allow you to turn it. And then last step, y'all. Last step. I'm excited. Y'all, I love zipper bags. And like I said, this is why I don't know how to do zippers. Because the embroidery machine does them for me. The embroidery machine literally does them for me. And y'all, if you're scared of zippers, here you go. So we're going to put that there. That one there. I just taped down all 4 corners. That way it doesn't move when you slide it in the hoop. I'm excited. This bag is officially almost done. One more stitch. Okay, so we're going to turn that back over, and we medical tape. Paper medical tape. That's what I use. Really good price. Really good price. John, so you can actually you can get these designs on their website. If send me a message, I can tell you exactly where to go. Send me a message, I can tell you exactly where to go. Okay, so we're gonna load that in there. Okay, so now it's gonna take and it's gonna stitch on here again. So it's gonna stitch that backing on there. So let's run that last stitch. I'm excited, y'all. Last one. It's gonna leave a section at the bottom open. So don't worry, we'll be able to get to the bag. We're gonna get to the bag. We're gonna have to trim around it, but we're gonna get to that bag. And it's gonna like really stitch this down. It does like a triple stitch around it when it stitches around. So some of the designs that I've found are good. Some of the designs are not. I just knew that I wanted to make sure that y'all seen a really good design when we stitched it out. So I used the Anita Good Design. I trust that company. They're really good. So, but there's a lot of other companies out there that do designs also. So check them out. So, but if you want to know where I got this one actually came with 10 different bags. This one came with 10 different bags, which is so cool. There's 10 different bags in this when you get this one. So lots of fun. So like I said, we'll do this one and then we'll do one more. We'll do one more. I'm going to add, we're going to add a fun transfer to the other one. We'll add a fun transfer to the other one. The machine is singing. It's done. Okay, so we're going to take it off. We're going to take it off and I'll show y'all. We're going to come back this way. I won't do anything until we turn. Turn in, turn in, turn in. Okay, so we turn that way. Okay, so it's all done stitching, okay? It's all done stitching. It's put the back on there, and you're going, wait a minute, how do we get to the zipper bag? So we're going to pop that out of there. Pop that out of there. Give me my tape. Give me my tape. Okay. And we'll, like I said, we'll run another one. We'll run another one. Stay there. So now what we're going to do is you can use scissors. You can use a, whatever you call it, a rotary cutter. I guess a rotary cutter would probably be quicker. So what we'll do is we'll run that rotary cutter. So this one, I just do a 1/4 inch seam on that one. So you go to the furthest on there. Now I'm going to keep that piece because I'll use it for something else. Use that one for something else. So we're going to come on this side. So just 1/4 inch seam away from the seam, or 1/4 inch. Cut a 1/4 inch away from the seam. Did I say that right? Sometimes I'm like, Carrie, hello. There's that one. And y'all, your machine just sews right through the zipper. So as long, like I said, as long as you make sure that you don't do the metal zipper. You don't want the metal zippers. And you could use a pair of scissors to do this if you wanted. Either way. So we're just going to get the scissors out because I missed part of it. When you got lots of layers there. You got lots of layers on here. Okay. We're going to leave that there. So now, good morning. Good morning. Blue painter's tape works well also. It doesn't have a sticky residue to gum up your needle, and it easily tears away if you sew through it. Y'all, blue painter's tape. They're saying blue painter's tape works out really well too. Okay, zipper bag, y'all. So now you're sitting there going, okay, how do I get to my zipper? How do I get to my zipper and the bag? Okay, so what we're going to do is there's an opening. There's an opening in here. So we're going to cut those corners. We're going to cut the corners. And you just trim. Don't make sure you don't hit the stitch. You don't want to hit the stitch. But just trim around the corner. Trim around the corner. You're not seeing the comments? I don't know. I don't know. So what we're going to do is we're going to take there and we're going to take and turn it inside out. Maybe fun with the batting. that might be fun with the batting. Maybe it was a bad choice for the batting. I don't know. It'll be okay. This is like a popple. This is like a popple. It's not scrolling. Move it. Move up on the comments. Maybe it'll. Beans, I just bought Trimmer by George by Hoop Sisters to trim batting out. Oh, that's cool. I don't know what that is, Marnie. You'll have to send me. So this is like a popple. So you just keep pulling. And Beans, it's not as hard if you don't add batting. It's not as hard if you don't add batting, but I just like the batting. I like the batting in it. So y'all are like, this is too hard. It'll come out. Keep going. Just keep going. Good morning. Good morning. No more trimming batting in the hoop. Okay, you need to send me what that is, Marnie. You need to send me what that is. Eight chapsticks. Who knew sewing was a physical sport, right? Okay, yay, I got it. Okay. Whew. Okay, so now we're going to push out the corners. We're going to push out the corners. Like I said, it's only that hard if you add batting. It's only that hard if you add batting. Maybe edit the file and leave a tiny bit opening before you make it, right? Okay, so we're going to push that open. Push that open. So I'm pushing the corners open here. Pushing the corners open here. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Okay. Okay, so yay. Okay, finally. Ha! So now we have the lining. Now we have the lining. So now what we need to do is we need to get to that zipper. So we need to get to that zipper. Zipper bags, Miss Lisa. We are doing zipper bags. So now you have that lining in there. So a little trick. So seam ripper. You take your seam ripper. I'm using my husband's seam ripper because my other one's in my other machine. So we're going to take your seam ripper and you're going to go in that. Make sure you don't cut the zipper. Make sure you don't cut the zipper. So you're going to go in that and then you're just going to slide your seam ripper down in. You're just going to slide that seam ripper down in and it opens the thing here. So then we're going to go down that side. And I'm going to grab the other one here. So I'm just going down here and getting, so you're just removing the stabilizer out of the zipper. You want to make sure that you don't cut the zipper though. You don't want to cut the zipper. I've made that mistake is I've accidentally cut the zipper in there and I'm like, that didn't work out really well. Okay, so now we have that zipper, but what we can do is we can open it a little bigger. Open it a little bigger here. That way it's easier to turn. Okay, so now we have the zipper open. So now we're going to just turn that bag right side out. Turn that bag right side out here. The next one, we will not add batting. But it looks really cool with the batting. I like the batting. Okay. Because it makes the quilting look cool. Okay. So we got that one. And then turn your top. Turn your top. Y'all, we have a zipper bag. We officially have a zipper bag. How cool is that? How cool is that? And it looks really cool. It looks really cool. Zipper bag in the hoop. Zipper bag in the hoop. With the lining. With the lining, right? That was kind of cool. That was kind of cool. Let's do one more. Let's do one more. We'll do one more. We won't add, I know, right? The purple is cool. The purple is cool. So we're going to add one more. Let me find, hold on. I'm going to close this seam ripper up. Because I know the process now. I know the process. How about we have fun with this lady? How about we have fun with this lady? I love adding things. I love adding things. So we're going to add her. We're going to have her. Thank you. Thank you. Is this, they have them for the 4x4. They have them for the 4x4, Cynthia. Okay. So, because this one is actually almost, it's a little under 7 inches. This one's a little under 7 inches. So we're going to add her. I'm going to make sure that she's going to fit. She is going to fit. Oh my gosh. Fun. Okay. So we're going to add that to one. So let's get rid of my mess here. I'm going to get rid of my mess and we're going to hoop another one. Was that fun? How was that, guys? That was a lot of fun. That was fun. I get excited. I get excited on the zipper bags because I'll get addicted to doing this zipper bags, and then boom, I'm making zipper bags and zipper bags and zipper bags, and lots of fun. Okay. So we're going to take, thanks for the follow. Thanks for the follow. So now we're going to take and we're going to hoop the no-show mesh stabilizer and my mess over here. I apologize for my mess. I've been doing really well. So we're going to hoop no-show mesh stabilizer. You could do a tearaway if you wanted. I just don't like the feel of the tearaway. So I love how my mug rags turned out with the right, Lynn? Oh my gosh, I love them on there. So so there was a lady at the show this weekend that she had lost her husband, and she was there trying to get her mind off things and so I gave her one of my mug rugs. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to give her a mug rug to bring a smile to her face. So I can't help myself. I can't help myself. Okay, so there's that. And like I said, we're going to hoop this. We're going to hoop this. And we're going to do the backing first. We'll do the backing first. And I'm thinking that we're going to do... Okay, so we're going to do... You want it pretty tight when you hoop it in there. You want it pretty tight when you hoop it in there. So we're going to come back to the sewing machine. Come back to the sewing machine. Pink and yellow match, right? Yeah, pink and yellow match. So I'm thinking that we're going to do yellow. Or do we want yellow, yellow, yellow? Oh, that goes there. Stay there. Hold on a minute, guys. I'm getting some fabric here. Fabric choice. Blue. How about we do blue? She'll look good on blue. We're going to do blue. So we're going to have, how about this fabric? We'll have some fun with this fabric. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. So let's change out that thread. Change out the thread. And as a reminder, you always cut up top and pull down below. Because fabric or the thread's not meant to go that way, but you try and remember these things. I have a fun. Do we want to do, because we're going to do, I may have to get a different lady because that lady doesn't, we're going to find the lady that's got blue on it. Do we want the lady with blue or lady with pink? I think we need the blue. I think we need the lady with blue on it. So we're going to do the lady with blue. So we're going to do, what color thread? What color of thread do we want? Thinking we do, I don't know. I don't have, do we have a blue? Do we have a blue? I need a blue. We're going to do a light blue. We're going to do a light blue. Light blue, light blue. So we'll do the back end of the bag, and then we'll do the front of the bag. So I need to return, delete. I need to go load that design again. And we're going to do the exact same design. We're going to do the same design. That way we don't confuse ourselves. We don't want to confuse ourselves. Back 6 set embroidery. Okay, so we're going to run that placement stitch. We're going to run that placement stitch on here, and then we'll do, you can do an in the hoop bag with lace zipper that shows Creative Kiwi. Yeah, those are cool too. Those are cool too. Those are very cool. Thank y'all for joining today. Thank you for the heart me. Thank you for the heart me. Yo, this is going to be cute. Check this out, guys. I'm thinking the blue with this lady. Because the other one just wasn't going to match. So we're changing to that one. We're going to change to that one. So now we're going to put this in the hoop. No batting this time. No batting this time. That way it's easier to turn. No batting. So then we're going to go ahead and stitch it. So it's going to go ahead and do the quilting on it. So it'll get all quilted. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for joining. So we're going to get this one stitched. So it's going to stitch it down. Once it stitches it down, we'll run that next stitch and it'll actually do the quilting. So, right? Those ladies are just cute, right? They're just the cutest ladies. So what this design does is, right? Isn't it cool? Is it does the backing. You remove it out of the hoop, and then you hoop another thing of the stabilizer in there, and then you run that stitch. You run that stitch again. So it works out really, really. Oh my gosh, how cool is that? You were cool. Thank you. So it'll run that stitch again. So then what we'll do is we'll add a transfer on there. So, but what we'll do is we'll make it do it in the stitch or stitch it first. And then once it stitches, we'll add the transfer once we fold that fabric down. That way we make sure we get it centered on there. So, because we can bring it over here and put the hoop on the pressing mat and it'll be okay. It will be okay. I'm excited. Excited. So thank y'all for joining. I appreciate you joining. Here. I'm going to take these, put those over there. I'm going to move these. I'm going to turn back this way so you guys can see the stitching. See the stitching there. Stitching away. I'm looking for some fabric for the inside. Looking for fabric for the inside. So. I found some. Found some fabric for the inside, y'all. Found some fabric for the inside. So what we're doing is right now, if y'all are just joining, we are adding, we're embroidering the back of a bag. So we're embroidering the back of the zipper bag. And then once the back gets all done, we will unhoop that, and then we will hoop some more stabilizer, and we will get the front going. On the front, you actually add a zipper bag. You add the zipper to the front of the bag. So And this is what it turns out to be. It turns out, isn't that cool? Is that not the coolest thing? I said this one has the batting in it, so we're going to do one without the batting. I just like the texture. It gives it like a 3D texture when you add that batting, just batting in there. So, but then you have it open, and then you have a lining in there too. That way it's completely lined. It's just cool, right? Is it not cool? So now we're doing the same thing again on this one, but this one we're gonna have some fun and add a little transfer to it. So once it gets stitched, it's just gonna make it a fun bag. These are just fun to make, y'all. So like I said, you have that one step. So it goes from step 4 to 5, and before you stitch that number 5, you want to add, if you're adding an embroidery to there, you want to add that embroidery. Good morning, thanks for joining. If you want to add an embroidery, you add that embroidery right there. Or if you want to add a transfer or anything that you're wanting to add, you want to do in between those 2 steps. And I'll tell you when we get to that step again on the next hooping. So like I said, it's going to run this stitching out. It'll got a couple more minutes here, and you can actually see it on this one. So you can see how it's stitching there. So when programming, how do you set all the steps? So Gracie, I didn't make this design. This design was actually made by Anita Good Design. So I use zipper. I've never actually created a zipper bag. I've created embroidery designs. I've created quilting designs. I've never created a zipper bag. So this is somebody else's design that we're using. So a thin fleece would give you the quilted texture without being as bulky to turn the batting. Oh, Chris, thank you. We'll have to try that. So instead of using the cotton fabric, we'd put the fleece fabric on there. That would actually work. So see, y'all, we share. We like to share ideas. So I appreciate it. Because I'll be the first to tell you, I don't know all of everything. So, but I have lots of fun with it. We have lots of fun. So it's quilting the back. Once it gets done quilting the back, again, it's got 1 more minute. It's got 1 more minute on the stitching. So once it gets done with that, we'll remove it from the hooping and we'll hoop another thing. Can you tell who the design? Anita Good Design, Jeanette. Anita Good Design. Thank you, Miss Debbie. Thank you. I appreciate you. Oh, you're very welcome, Jeanette. You're very right. I use fusible fleece sometimes to keep it from bunching. Oh, that's a good idea too, Abby. That is a good idea too. I didn't even think about that. Miss Abby does a lot of embroidery too, so. So it's going to finish this stitching. Just a couple more seconds here and it'll be done. A couple more seconds, it'll be done. And like I said, this is why I don't do zippers. So I am not the best at zippers. Like I said, I'm not a seamstress. So like somebody's like, hey, do zippers. I'm like, yeah, no. So we'll run this stitch, take it off, hoop some more stabilizer, thin fleece instead of batting. That would work too. That would work too. Thank y'all for your help. Thanks for sharing. I appreciate it. Okay, so we're going to take this one out of there. So because that's the back of the bag. This is the back of the bag. And remember, hold on to that when you're pulling it out. So I'm going to turn y'all back here. We'll keep turning. So I'm going to unhoop this one. I'm going to pull that one out. So the back of the bag is done. Back of the bag is done. And you can see how it's all stitched. The back, you can see the back. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to hoop another thing of stabilizer. You use lots of stabilizer with embroidery, y'all. Lots of stabilizer with embroidery. So we're going to hoop that one. Now, how do I keep losing my scissors? How do I keep losing? There they are. So we're going to hoop this one. And I saved the smaller pieces, at least the smaller, larger pieces. I'm going to put that there, so maybe I won't lose it. So we're going to put that there. Felt like I was sitting on something. Grab this one. Okay. So now that one's all hooped. So we're going to go back. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. So we're going to go back over to the embroidery machine again. So now it's going to run that plate. We're going to load that other design because it got done stitching. Here, we'll go this way. That way y'all can see. So we're going to say, okay. We're going to hit return and delete. I know I said it before, but first time I ever did this, I'm like, I don't want to delete the design. No, but you're not actually deleting the design. You're just actually deleting it out of your current project. So it's still on your thumb drive. It's still on your thumb drive. So we're going to load that thumb drive again. We're going to go find number 6 because like I said, there's 10 bags on here. There's 10 different bags on here. So we're going to grab number 6 and we're going to hit set and we're going to hit embroidery. So now we're going to run this. So we'll get this in here. And we're going to run that placement stitch because that first placement stitch is for the zipper. So let's say okay. Because what it'll do is it's going to run around the outside and then it's going to run those 3 lines for the zipper. It'll run the 3 lines for the zipper. Yeah, back that way. Almost thinking, what do y'all think about a yellow zipper? You think a yellow zipper would be okay? It's got yellow lights. I'm thinking yellow zipper. Y'all okay with a yellow zipper? Okay, I'll make sure you see next time, Nancy. Put in a clear vinyl on top of the fabric. Will turn your zipper bag into a more water-resistant bag too. Oh, nice, Chris. Very nice. I think we're going to do yellow. Okay. Thanks, Chris. I'm glad you joined the live today. Thank you. So we're going to line this up, and you want to make sure, because you have your metal piece on the zipper and your zipper, you want to make sure that that is outside of those stitch lines. Make sure that that is outside of those stitch lines so it doesn't come and stitch over that. So we're going to put it in place. You're going to tape it down. He said you end up using lots of tape. That's why I like this one. And the painter's tape is a good idea too. So I'm going to tape this down. I may have to get a roll of the painter's tape because I like that idea. And I think you're right. I don't think it's as sticky as this. So, but this isn't too bad. So just sticks to the batting really well. So, okay. So you want to make sure that you line it up. You get that zipper lined up in the middle with the zipper right in the middle on that stitch line. So we're going to come in here. Go there. I'm going to back there. Okay. And then we're going to run that stitch line. So what it does is it goes and it'll stitch one side of the zipper and then it'll stitch the other side of the zipper. Good morning. Good morning. How are you this morning? stitch the other side. Okay, so now we're going to come back over here because we're going to add fabric. We are going to add fabric here. Go that way. I'm going to remove this because we're done cutting for a little bit because we're going to have to press in a minute. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn it over. And we're going to put, so you're going to turn it over because what you're going to do is you're going to add the lining. So we're going to have the lining and the front of the fabric. The lining and the front of the fabric. So here is a piece for the lining. Is that big enough? Yep. So I decided we're going to do blue on the inside. We're going to do blue on the inside. So we're going to turn it this way, making sure that when it comes back, yeah, it's going to be big enough. Because I've done that before. I've stitched it on there, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, hey, it's not big enough. Ha ha. Joke's on me. So make sure it's there. And we'll take a piece of tape. Take a piece of tape. Thank you for joining this morning. Thanks for joining this morning. My glasses are falling off my nose. I'm going to tape that one there. You always want to tape it down. If you don't tape it down, you'll end up with a bunched piece of fabric on the back side. Bunched piece of fabric on the back side. So we're gonna pull this one down like this. So this is your lining. We're gonna pull it down like this. That way it's not on your what you call it, your thing that slides into your machine. So we're gonna tape that down too. And this time we're not going to pull it down when we do that other one. Good morning, Miss Amy. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. Okay. So we have that one. So there's your lining. Okay. So we have the lining there, and you've got right sides down, and you fold it to the top. Because once we do that stitch, we're going to fold it to the bottom. That way it has there. So now we're going to come on the front, and we're going to grab this other piece of fabric. So we're going to be adding this. Not yet. Next step. Next step, we're going to turn that iron on so it's hot. So we're going to take this and we're going to tape it right side down, because it's going to stitch on that bottom thing there. Stitch on the bottom thing. So I'm going to hold that right down there, and we're going to take that other piece of tape off. So we're going to take tape off here. Maybe we could reuse the tape. Maybe. Yeah, we can reuse that tape. We're just going to reuse that piece of tape that was on the zipper because the zipper is already stitched down. It's not going nowhere. It is not going nowhere. So we're just going to reuse the tape that was on the zipper. So we've got that there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to load it back on the machine, and then it'll run that stitch right there. And then we're going to fold it down. But we're not going to fold the lining one down this time. You can add a tab on the zipper pull, also helps with the opening. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, okay. So we're going to come back this way. I will turn y'all back. I want making sure y'all see the whole process here. The whole process. Okay, so we're going to load this in here. And again, hold on that because sometimes those hoops get hard to load. Sometimes they get hard to load. So you're going to pull this up. Then what we're going to do is run that stitch. And you're still leaving your zipper closed. Still leaving that zipper closed. You don't want to open that zipper yet. And here is where I added batting last time. We're not going to add batting this time, but we're going to add a transfer. We're going to add a fun transfer on here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to unhoop this. We're going to unhoop it. We're going to come back over this way. Y'all just keep turning. I'm sorry. Y'all just keep turning here. So, but I want you to see the process here. So I'm going to untape it, and we're leaving the backing alone right now. We're going to leave that backing alone right now. So I'm going to untape it, tape there. So we're going to pull this down right here like this. And then I'm going to take, and I'm grabbing the fun lady. We're adding the fun lady. We're going to add her into here. So I'm going to center her here. I'm going to get her centered here. Make sure that she's within that stitch line. She can come down just a little bit here. Get her centered. Move her over a little bit. Okay. So now I'm going to take, press this here. Press this here. And I'm just leaving it in the hoop. Leaving it in the hoop. And then I'm going to take that off there. Take that off there. And then I'm going to take another piece of fabric. I'm going to press over her. You don't want to press on top of the transfer there. Okay. So she's now in the hoop. She is now in the hoop. How cute is that? So now we'll go back over to the embroidery machine. We're going to stitch her down. We're going to stitch her down. So this is where you can have fun with these bags. This is literally where you can have fun with these bags, is add your own thing to it. So you have a pattern. You have a pattern for a bag, but you're like, I want something fun on this bag. So we just added a transfer and it completely turns it into a different bag. So completely turns it, right, Amy? So we're going to stitch this. So it'll stitch it down. It's going to come to the other side. And I think we centered her fairly okay. She's a little off, but that's okay. That's okay. So what we'll do is it's going to do this, and now it'll come and do the stitching on top of it. And the transfers work out really well. Those transfers work out really well on there. So, and y'all, these make phenomenal. I'm in love with. Oh my God, this bag is just cute. Oh my gosh, cute, cute, cute. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and stitch. So it'll start stitching that. So, and you can see the difference. So you see how this one, it didn't have anything on it. It's a really cute bag, but now we just added a transfer to it. You see the difference of what it does? I mean, it just gives it a pop. It just gives it that extra look onto that. It's all in what you do on the fabric. It's all in what you do with the fabric. You can take a piece of fabric that has a design on it, and then you can center that design onto there too. So many different options. So many different options. So, oh, right, Amy? Yes, it is cool. So we're going to get this all stitched out. Once this one stitches, we'll take and we'll move the lining down. I've sewed fabric strips together and made my own fabric and then made into bags. Absolutely, Marnie. Absolutely, Marnie. So it is fun. This is going to be cute. This one is going to be cute, y'all. Exciting. I'm excited, y'all. Thanks for hanging out this morning, y'all. I really appreciate you hanging out. Is that like a cell phone bag, the purple one? So, Amy, it's too small for a cell phone bag. This one's too small for a cell phone bag. This is for, I don't know, whatever you want to put. I use these bags for like change bags or, whatever. So, bags to put your cards in. So this one's not quite big enough for a cell phone. I don't think. See, it's not quite big enough for a cell phone. It would need to be just a little bit bigger. So. But, y'all, does this not give you a total different idea on zippers? Makeup. Yeah, it could be a makeup bag. It could totally be a makeup bag. So it could be like your change purse. You could put your change in here. So many different things. So many different things. So I think I'm going to be making a bunch of bags today. I'm telling you, I love doing zipper bags. I love doing zipper bags. They're just too much fun. And especially when you do something like this, when you add like credit cards, you could add credit cards, a small cosmetic bag. Yes, there's so many different ideas that you can use for these bags. So. And again, somebody said the other day who has somebody has a free zipper bag design. I think it was Juju. There's so many different ones. Good morning. I don't see, but just came upon you. Love what you do. Well, thank you. Oh, you don't sew. Well, thank you. I appreciate you hanging out. And you don't have to sew to hang out with us. You don't have to sew to hang out with us. You can have fun with us without sewing. I got it. I gotcha. Well, thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. You got the gingerbread quarter keeper. Oh, how cool is that? Oh, Creative Kiwi, y'all. Creative Kiwi has a free zipper bag. So thank you. Good morning, Murray. How are you? Is this not cute? Oh my gosh, this is going to be so cute, y'all. I'm excited. I'm excited. She is just darling. And you know, when you add quilting to it, it's just, oh my gosh. Yes, right? You could have put a ring on the side for keys and then put your, right? Totally. Yeah, you could totally do that. So before you sew that backing on there, you could actually put a key ring thing folded here and it would stitch it down. Thanks for the follow. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. But yeah, you could totally, because you have like, hold on, I have like this one's a big one. So. But you could take one of these key rings here, you could fold it in half, or just put that. You could actually put like that right there when you stitch it in, and then it would have that key ring when you turned it inside out. Well, thank you, Amy. Thank you. I appreciate it. Right? Aren't these cool? Good morning, Ratman. How are you? And y'all, I appreciate whoever hung out with me yesterday. I appreciate it because I was so afraid I was going to go on there yesterday and nobody was going to hang out with me yesterday because I'm usually not on Sundays. So we had a lot of fun yesterday. I still can't believe that we created that whole quilt. There you are, Miss Amy. Thank you. Thinking, you know, I think we're going to add this. I think we're going to add this on this bag. I think we're going to add this on this bag. Because it just matches. It just matches. So I think we're going to add it. Okay, so we got them stitching that. So now I need to take it back off the hoop when we're, can you show the quilt I left before? Absolutely, Nikki. Absolutely. So I'm going to pull this out and we're going to fold. So we have the lining. So I need to take and untape that lining. Untape the lining. And we're going to fold that lining down. I'm going to pull the lining down. How much tape can you use, Carrie? So there's the lining. And I'll tape it down. Because what it'll do now is it's going to come and stitch down the lining. That was what I did last time. I accidentally stitched the quilting stitch onto the lining, which still was fine. Okay, so we folded down that lining. So now we're going to put it back in here again. Y'all, oh my gosh. How cute is she? How cute is she? You can use your empty favorite candy or chip bags as well to make a clear vinyl over it. Phenomenal idea, Chris. Phenomenal idea. So what she's saying is you can take and do like if you had like a bag of M&Ms, we'll just say bag of M&Ms. So you take that bag of M&Ms, put that on here, that put clear vinyl over it, and then you have a cool themed bag. So how cool is that? How cool is that? Okay, so somebody wants to see the quilt we did this yesterday. So I did a quilt in a day yesterday, y'all. I did a quilt in a day. So I'm going to show y'all the quilt that we got finished yesterday. So it's over here. I have it in a box, so because it'll be delivered. It's going to be delivered. Okay, so y'all check this quilt out that we did yesterday. So we got this we literally pieced this quilt, we quilted this quilt, and we binded this quilt. We did all of it, right? Isn't that gorgeous? This one turned out completely gorgeous, y'all. And y'all, so the variegated thread. So the variegated thread turned out cool. So isn't that cool? And look at this. Look at the quilting. I've never done white before, but y'all, it turned out really pretty. It turned out so pretty. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I was excited. I was excited. So I printed the cows out. Yeah, that I can't believe. So we started at 1:30 a.m. y'all. I got up early on a Sunday because I usually try and sleep in on weekends, but needless to say, yesterday we were up at 1:30 and we were stitching at 1:30. So thank you, Christy. Thank you. So I appreciate that. Okay, so put her back in the box. Stay in the box. Okay, so now what we need to do is we're going to be doing the top. So I'm going to pull this out because we need to put so here we go. So now we're going to add the top of the fabric and the lining of the fabric. So we're going to come over here. Stay there. I'm going to turn you guys over here. Here we go. Stay there. I'm talking to the thing, not you guys. Okay, so now what we need to do is I need to cut a piece for the lining. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to lining. We're going to go this way. What way am I going? Yes, I'm going this way. So we're going to go there because we'll line it up here and then it'll fold that way. I had to think about that for a minute. Okay. So I'm going to put that one there. And I got to remember I'm going to put a handle on this one. So, you can make once you have the design, you can do whatever you want to do. So, thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. You can literally, add whatever you want to these things to make it your own. So, it's just, a lot of these things are like starter designs. Okay, so now on the front, we need a piece of fabric on the front. So I'm going to take from the bottom. Because I'm going to take that from the bottom and then I'm going to lay that here. And we're still not opening that zipper yet, y'all. We are still not opening the zipper yet. So, no, it is not short. I'll show you. Because the top of the zipper, where's the zipper? So if you see, the top of this zipper bag is really narrow on the top. So it doesn't need a very big piece on that top. So once you've done a few of these, you'll find out that, right? Yeah. I almost dropped my coffee. Luckily it has a lid on it. Okay, so we have the front here and then we have the back. So let's move back over here. Thanks for checking though, Annette, because sometimes I forget. Sometimes I do it wrong. So please always ask. I don't mind at all. Okay, so we're going to load this in here. Make sure, come this way. As a reminder, hold on. So when I say hold on, so you have this piece right here, because you have your arm and then you have this piece that your hoop goes into. I always hold it, y'all. I always hold it because sometimes it gets a little stiff. Okay, so now we're going to stitch that. So it's going to stitch that lining down and the top down. So and as we did before, we're going to pull the top back, but not the lining. We're going to pull the top back, but not the lining. So we'll leave, I just leave it hoop for this step. I leave it hoop for this step. Give me your tape. So then we'll come this way. I'm liking the yellow choice, y'all. I'm liking the yellow choice. So now what it's going to do is it'll stitch that top down. So we're going to run that stitch on the top here. And now it'll do the quilting. Once it does the quilting, we're getting close, y'all. We're getting close. We'll go ahead and let that run. Nikki, we're going to skip walking today. So it's going to get this quilted. Once it gets this quilted, like I said, we'll take it back out of the hoop. We'll move the lining up. That way the lining can get stitched down. She's cute. I'm excited. I'm excited, y'all. Excited, excited. Okay, so now I'm going to unhoop it. Again, you hold that hoop. I don't know why they get so stiff. I don't know why they get so stiff. So we're going to take the tape back off these. Fold that down. Fold that down. Put it back in the hoop. That way it'll run that placement stitch. That way it stitches down the lining and the top pretty good. So after making these, I started making bag tags for the hoop in the bag. Right? Those are awesome. Okay, so what I did is I went ahead and trimmed around this. Good morning, Joy. Good morning. So when we went ahead and trimmed around this, I just used a pair of scissors to trim around it. So what we're going to do is, you know, we added a transfer to it. I'm also going to add a little hand things. So in order to add the hand, so first thing we got to do is we got to unzip it. So you want to unzip it. Don't forget to unzip it, because you forget that step, you're out of luck. You're not getting into your bag. You're not getting into your bag. So then what we're going to do is we're going to take this, and I'm going to put it on the corner. I'm going to go sideways with it. I'm going to go sideways with it, and I'm going to tape that down. I'm going to tape that down there. That way it's there, and then I'm going to take, well, I'm going to have to unhoop it here. Okay, so I have that taped down right there. That way when we turn it inside out, it's going to come out right there. So then I'm going to take this, and I'm going to go this way, and we're going to get it, line it up as close as possible. Make sure you have it the right way. Line it up as close as possible to the stitches. And then you tape all 4 corners down. Tape all 4 corners down. Because you don't want it moving. Because this is going to stitch the back of the bag to the front of the bag, y'all. Back of the bag to the front of the bag. These are fun to make. I know it looks like a bunch of steps, but y'all, once you start making them, you're like, oh my gosh, this is too much fun. Too much fun, especially when you start adding your own things to it. Especially when you start adding your own things to it. It's just too much fun. Fun, fun. You just have to remember that you open that zipper up, because if you forget to open the zipper up, oh my gosh, it's a nightmare. You're seam ripping. You're seam ripping for a while. You're seam ripping for a while there. You gotta be careful when you add that. Okay, so now we'll take it off and we'll add the backing of the fabric on there. So, right? It'll be a fun wristlet on there. So, okay, so we're going to take this off. So now we need to add the backing. We need to add the backing fabric. Is that one? That one is big enough. That one is big enough. So we're going to tape this down, because what it'll do is it'll go through and it'll stitch all the way around. But it's going to leave an opening at the bottom. It'll leave an opening at the bottom there. Tape. I'm telling you, lots of tape. That's why I like this tape. May have to try the painter's tape, because I seem to remember the painter's tape is a good idea too. So just as an idea, guys. Okay, so there's that. So flip it back around. We're going to get it hooped. I'm excited to see this one, y'all. I am excited to see this one, y'all. Okay, so thank y'all for joining. Thank y'all for joining, y'all. Yeah, I don't know how many times I have done this process, and then you get to this process and it's stitched along, and then you're like, oh, I forgot the zipper. Hi, Elaine. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. You have to be careful in this section, because you added that, and sometimes you can raise your foot. Because I added those 2 extra layers in there. How does the machine know where to stitch? So, Jane, so it's an actual design on here, and the design that you actually load that design. And when you load the design, it actually tells you exactly where to stitch. It's the coolest thing. It is, I don't know. It is the coolest thing. Okay, so we're coming back over here. Y'all, I'm excited for this one. I am excited for this one. We're going to come up here a little bit. So now what we're going to do is we're going to unhoop it. So, yeah, this is exciting. I'm excited. That means, so I'm off today, so I might be making a few more zipper bags today. So, because I get on a stage of making things. And yeah, y'all, too much fun. Too much fun. Okay, so we're gonna take all of these pieces of tape off. All the pieces of tape off. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna trim around it is the where we go is the embroidery pattern for a zipper bag in the hoop. So yeah, so the embroidery design is a zipper bag in the hoop. So if you want to know where I got it, shoot me a message. I can send you the information on it. So yes, I was gonna cancel my day off work, and then I'm like, you know what? No, I'm taking the day. I'm taking the day. I had scheduled it. So I asked one of my admins to stand in and be like, hey, anybody has issues, can you stand in? So we're going to take and we're going to trim this. And just trim it fairly close to the stitch. Just make sure you don't hit that stitch. You don't want to hit the stitch on there. So once we get it trimmed, I'll show y'all. And this will turn a lot easier than the last one did, y'all. So the last one we turned because it had batting in it. We were doing our morning workout. So I'm going to trim the edges or the corners. I'm going to trim you just take and trim the corner like this. Make sure you don't hit the stitches. Make sure you don't hit the stitches on there. And you can trim this with a rotary cutter if you want. I use scissors for everything. So, anyways, so where's my opening? So we have an opening here. So we're going to take that opening, and because that's the lining. That's a lining, because you're sitting there looking. I was like, how do I get to my bag? How do I get to my bag? Well, you have the lining here. So you have that hole here. So what you do is you take and you're going to, I always put my thumb in. And I always grab the furthest corner and I take and I punch it through like that. And then it's like a popple. Then it's like I always say popple. I always say popple. So this one's turning inside out easier. This one's turning inside out a little easier because I added that handle. But it's okay. Come on. Turn inside out for me, please. See, I was like, well, I'm not adding batting, so it'll be easier. Okay. Yay. Okay. It's there. Can you explain what a popple is? Amy. So back in the late 70s, early 80s, I think it was, my parents gave me a popple. And it's a stuffed animal that that had like a cover on it. And what it did is it actually folded into that, and its head stuck out. So then you just popped it out, and then its legs and its arms came out. A popple. It was just a popple. So that's what a popple is. So am I going to be on live Christmas Eve? I will probably be on Christmas Eve and Christmas because Derek's working. So Derek is working. Okay. So now we have it turned inside out. Now we need to trim this out. Yeah. Amy, if you search a popple, you'll see what a popple is. Just be like, search, back in the day, like I said, early 80s. I know I'm showing my age, y'all. I'm showing my age, what a popple is. Okay. So we have this, in here. This is where the seam ripper works, but you've got to be careful. Make sure you don't hit the zipper. You don't want to hit the zipper. You only want to cut the stabilizer. So once you get it in there, you can just make sure you don't hit the zipper. Please do not hit the zipper, Carrie. Making sure I'm not hitting the zipper. Okay. And then just slide along the stabilizer. Yeah, it was cool. It was the coolest thing. I don't know. And now anytime I like do a bear or anything like this, I'm like, oh, it's like a popple. I don't know why. I just think of it like a popple. So you're just literally trimming the stabilizer out of the zipper and not cutting the zipper. You don't want the stabilizer to show. This is where the tearaway works out really well because you can just tear it right out of there. But like I said, I don't like the filling of the tearaway in the bag. So I like the no-show mesh. Okay, so open that zipper up. So you can open the zipper all the way up. Open the zipper all the way up. I got scared because I'm like, what is that? It's the handle. I'm like, what the heck is that? So now we're going to turn it right side out. Turn it right side out. Right? That now you're telling your age, Irie. Now you're telling your age. See how you are? Turns out these things turn a lot easier if you don't put batting in them, y'all. They turn a lot easier. Oh my gosh, this is cute. This is cute, y'all. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. The handle was a good idea. The handle was a good idea. Right? How cool is that? So we've done 2 bags today. We did 2 bags today, guys. So we did a purple bag. And then we did this, but I'm loving this one. I'm in love with this one. This is cute. Cute, right? Are those not fun? Right? How fun is that? Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Right? Isn't it fun, Desi? Cool, cool. Tip. Okay, we got a tip. Close turning hole with double-sided tape or by sewing it to make sure objects fall through. Oh, nice. Everyone's going to want one, right? Send me a message, Ronnie. Send me a message. I will, I can give you the information on it. So fun. All right, guys. So we've had fun today. Tomorrow, what are we doing tomorrow? So tomorrow is, I'm going to show y'all how to do, did you print the picture on the fabric? So this is actually a transfer. This one's actually a transfer. So it's actually a, this one actually gets printed on, it's a DTF transfer. So send me the information or send me a message and I can send you the information. I like to share. Thank you. So I have to tell you, y'all, we may have to do something with these bears. How cool are the bears? Christmas bears, y'all. I have a bear and a Santa. So we may have to do something with those. Right? Oh, I have one more thing to show you. Hold on. Because I found this one and I had it printed. Look at this. It says, quilting solves most my problems. My husband solves the rest. I just got to figure out what I'm going to do with it. I'm thinking of a wall hanging. With this. So maybe we'll quilt this tomorrow. So I don't know. Laugh quilt with the bears. Yeah, might have to. So, but anyways. Isn't that fun? Yes, tomorrow is template day. So what we'll be doing is we're going to be creating. So if you want to learn how to quilt in the hoop, and you don't have a projector on your machine, or even if you do have a projector on your machine, come join tomorrow. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to show y'all how to, and y'all, we're going to go as little as a 4x4 hoop all the way up to your bigger hoops. So I'm going to show you, and I'm going to walk you through the process of actually creating the template in the hoop and then using that template with doing a quilting with it. So, and then I have a request to do it on the Topaz 50. So we're going to be having fun with the Topaz 50 tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes. So, but 4:30 tomorrow morning, my schedule, what did the bag look like? So here is the bag. And we've got a handle on that bag. And here is the purple bag. So they turned out cute. Y'all. So, but anyways, yes, give me a follow. Come hang out. If you want some information on something, send me a message. And just as an FYI, I have a 2-day virtual quilt retreat I'm doing in February. If you want information on the 2-day virtual quilt retreat, send me a message. It's doing abstract. Lots of fun, y'all. So see y'all tomorrow morning, 4:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. I'm in Arizona. It is currently 7 o'clock here. So come join me tomorrow morning, y'all. 4:30, and have fun. And bring your coffee, y'all. So, all right. Have a good one. And thanks again, y'all.